Okay, hi, welcome back to the Land Rover Toolbox videos. And first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for dropping comments on the last vlog video. It's actually very valuable, all the information that you're giving to me. A couple of things, links and everything else. It's good to look at stuff so we can then make a decision. Especially this one, okay, this one from the Australian Land Rover owners one. And basically, this is spanking, and this guy's gone to a lot of trouble to first of all draw out his project and then work it out from there, which is brilliant. We're not actually going to do just this, but I'll leave a link below, and you can have a look and see how he's actually progressed, because this is spanking, and there's a lot of detail in the forum thread. So thank you very much, guys, for your input. It's very much appreciated, and if you want to carry on, I'm really happy. Now, Greg Facebook, he sent me this picture here of a toolbox, which, yeah, it's in my mind to do if I don't do the cab. And, of course, Neil sent me this bumper under trade guard as well. Of course, what I was thinking before about having the second door, I didn't like it because there would be a wheel arch remnant there, but this picture shows you that it is possible, and this is a production. This is actually a brand new Toyota. Just a heads up on Patriot Campers, which are doing a Mega Tourer build series, and episode 2, I'll leave a link below, they've actually done a chassis extension 6x6, but they've put a modular frame welded to the chassis, and it's interesting to look at. Right, so my workplace, I'm just going to give you a little treat here. Here's a 13 plate Defender, and this is a 130. And what I want to show you is the condition of the chassis after 4 years of use. Now, this vehicle works in the field, and it's worked quite a lot. These guys do your electricity pylons and all that sort of thing. Now, you can see the sort of condition it's in after 4 years. This has been steam washed, and it's going for MOT, so I just thought I'd nip under here and show you what sort of rust there is. It's starting to show through in a few places. I'll just go over here. You can see where the welds are. It's starting to rust. A bit further down, okay, chassis in good condition. Obviously, the company are not treating their chassis. Oh, look, there's a helper spring on the 130 axle, and this is to accommodate for the weight, obviously. The thing that always seems to smack me here is these companies don't really look after their vehicles. Now, the rear cross member here, the welds and where the holes are, they are starting to rust. So I don't presume that the rear end is going to be the first to go, but I would imagine it is. You can see what sort of corrosion's actually starting to form now. And I guess some of you, this would bring a tear to your eye, because this is now treatable. As in within 10 years it won't be, it will be a rotten chassis. Okay, well, while the guy was preparing, servicing, MOTing it, I was putting new spring bushes and pins in the axle on this bulk tipper trailer. Now, I'm probably not interested. You will be interested when you see this tool. This is like a bushwhacker, but it's hydraulic over air. It means air will move a hydraulic ram. The large portion here is the foot pedal, and this is made in Sweden. It's about £700 for this kit. If you're an HGV technician, you might want to Google this and get your boss to get one, because we use it. This is amazing. What it is a hydraulic ram that's pushed by air. It only moves one way, so you turn it one way to pull the bush out, and you obviously use a spacer there. And to push it in, you turn it the other way. Okay, now here's the bush. And this will show you how easy it is to actually operate and to get the bush in. Brilliant piece of kit. Bushwhacker, obviously, it would be a manual affair. So the benefits of doing these bushes, I got some pins. These are shackle pins, and we never fit second hand. This measures out at about a 24 millimeters diameter. And there you go, 24 millimeters diameter on the bolts, and I'm going to cut those down and use them for the axle stands that we're making. So never to miss an opportunity, I was actually going to cut this bar up, which is a chrome molybdenum, which was a 3/4 T-bar. However, I'll still just use it as a drift and keep my other T-bar just there. While we're in my toolbox at work, I'll just show you a few of the extra tools I've got. This is a fluid pump. This is from Sealy Tools. It costs about £13. It is basically a large syringe, and this is just for brake fluids, and that's all I'm going to be using it for. So guys in the UK, you'll know Lidl, you'll probably know that Parkside make, well, they make air tools, and I'm not convinced that cheap tools are good. However, I've been using this and I've been smashing the hell out of it. The only thing that's gone wrong with it so far is the rubber handle. Now, that is cheapness. This is not cheapness, but I would have thought this would have broken by now, and it hasn't. This works every single day, and I'm pulling off caliber bolts and putting them up back to 250 Newton meters. It's a good tool, the stubbies. And I had a little bit of time today, actually. It being a Friday, we finished all our jobs, and I'm just making sure my tools are clean and everything is oiled and laid up, because, well, I'll show you in a minute what happens when you leave something in a damp workshop over the weekend. This is a 65mm socket for transit hubs. Now, this was, I had to buy it. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever use it again. It's a big nut. Lambda sensors, now we are starting to remove lambda sensors all the time. I've got this kit just in case. Unfortunately, I think it now is going to be a bit of a mistake. It's been sitting in my toolbox and it hasn't corroded. Now the Mac Tools fittings here, okay, the tools I've got here are Torx bits. They are for emergencies. I keep them just in case I break one. However, you can see here that they've actually started to rust, and I've only used one of them. So I'll give it a WD-40 and we'll see how we go from there. Blue Point air hammer is falling to bits. It's lost all of its grub screws, and that includes the ones that hold their chuck in place. This vibrates loose every single time I use it, and Snap-on haven't been able to provide me with the grub screws, and I'm going to go and have to find them. This one here also, there's a grub screw. This lets air out, and you can see I've had to just quickly chuck a bolt in there to get it going. And again, Snap-on support surprisingly haven't been very good on that. These bits here have started to cause problems. This one got caught in the chuck. It's used quite a lot, and you can see the damage on there, hopefully. The same with this one here. It's peened itself over and it got jammed in the jaw, and I'm not impressed with these. They were expensive, but they have been working hard. The tooling material is very hard, so it's something, if you guys have got these, if you don't get a warranty, then you have to run them around a grinder and make sure they don't jam up. Otherwise it's a lot of work to get them out. Okay, so not impressive, but this tool is working. It works 5 days a week, so I cannot complain about that. Tools to me are consumables. What I do with all my tools, I oil them, liberally oil them. The weekends I'll set them up and I'll make sure they've got a lot of oil in them, and during the working week they will get oiled before they're used. Now, one thing that this is brilliant, this pickle fork. This is a step pickle fork. I think I've showed it before. Either has a fitting for the air gun, or the air chisel, should I say, or air hammer, whatever you like to call it. And yeah, it's done pretty well, because with it, you're getting 20,000 blows a minute with an air hammer, and this fitting here is for using just a conventional manual hammer. Okay, so the pickle fork is also known as a ball joint splitter, and this is one you'd buy in the UK. Not bad. I haven't used this one much, just in case. Now, I've had a pretty bad week. My hand's been injured, and this was the final straw. I've got a wire stuck right deep in there. It's now gone very hard and infected, so I've got to rest my hands this week. And I've also got man flu, so yeah. Right, so this hammer here is a curbstone hammer for straightening up curbstones, but this is from Thor. It's very good, and I've used it for a certain application. Thor make all sorts of hammers, and they're worth looking at if you need soft-headed hammers. Okay, the Mac toolbox was Raptor'd. Was it a year and a half ago, 2 years, or a year ago? I can't remember. I was asked to show what sort of condition the box is in now after it's been knocked about in the workshop, and I will say that this stuff does chip off. The surfaces here, it hasn't really had any abuse, but on the tops and on the corners where I lay bars, you can see it's actually taken the Raptor off. On the drawers here you can see the scuffing from the hammer handles, which are quite soft. I'm not overly impressed with the Raptor, to be honest with you. Even just a paint job would do. You can see here it's scuffed all over the place. In the drawers and the top, however, it is oil resistant. You can see there's a fair bit of oil laying in here and diesel and whatever else, and it hasn't affected it. Anyway, it's the end of the week, Friday. We've finished up early. I'm going to close the toolbox up and lock up. I've had enough now. I'll go home and I'll take some man flu tablets and we'll be all right. Okay, so yeah, at home I've got the metal set out that I got from the engineers. I was a bit annoyed because the proportions of the metal that I ordered didn't actually come how they were, and I think he was trying to save some money somewhere for me, which I'm grateful for, but it's, the design isn't exactly the same. You can see the uprights here. It's something like 15mm thick steel, okay, as opposed to 10mm. Not that it'll matter too much, but the proportions might just be a little bit different from how the other axle stands were. They will be more beefier because there's something like an extra 5mm on these tubes, so they look slightly bigger than the originals of which I was trying to copy. Top section here, nice chunky bit of channel, and this is going to actually take a fair bit of weight and a fair bit of abuse, so I'm going to have to weld all this up and show you. I don't think I'll show you how I'm going to weld it up. I'm just going to weld it up and show you roughly what I've done with this. And being Friday night, I've just measured all this up, and I've actually realised that some of the bits are short, and I did give the engineer the correct dimensions, so I'm not 100% happy with this, but you'll see how I get on over the weekend if I'm up to it.